because Kierkegaard is a figure who, for most part in philosophy, is known to be the father of existentialism. And then people may have heard of him in terms of being a very miserable and gloomy, melancholic Dane. But, you know, I don't think it's really, even though existentialism is one of the few philosophies that's really become embedded in our culture, you know, there's very few philosophies that have made that crossover to be really felt. And you know, you've got artists and poets and writers all really massively infused by this philosophy. But yes, Kierkegaard is a ridiculously good psychologist. You know, I think it's really hard to talk about Kierkegaard without talking about his personal life, because his is a lived psychology. And, you know, Kierkegaard himself never called himself a philosopher. He really didn't get on with the philosophers of his time. They were on the wrong track. So he's very much a poet and an author who's, and he says this, he says his rest and death is to awaken his reader, to awaken that inner truth in them, you know. So if you're going to take one thing from Kierkegaard, it really is this reminder that existence isn't about beliefs, words, thoughts, creeds, systems. It's about you. You must let your life speak for you. It's what we do. It's what we put into action. Yeah, and he comes to that conclusion through a really deep and honest analysis of his own self. And it's not an easy path. I think we'll talk about Kierkegaard where he ends up, and it's not a path that I certainly would want to follow his path. It's full of pain, full of loneliness, but he seems to have found some joy in that place, you know, because, you know, we get to the end of his life and he is very serene, and he just feels that it's his time. He's not raging against anything. He's not raging against what he died. He talks a lot. He diagnoses himself a lot. You know, the thorn in his flesh, the misrelation between his spirit and his body. So, I mean, you can really, I don't know, really. I have to get your thoughts on this as a therapist and as an analyst. Kierkegaard is all about not telling you how to live. You know, he's very silent in that respect. What he does is he uses Socratic irony and very clever characters in his works that reflect a certain stage of existence, and there's a conflict between them. And so you're reading his work, and what you're seeing is you find yourself reflected back, and that's what he wants. He wants you to feel unsettled. He wants to awaken something deeper in you.